severe mental problems in this case, and what the it's a long story, Your Honor, but
All right.
the parents
mean,
were trying.
I just want it, but are there any MH issues with your client?
Pardon?
Are there any MH issues with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
Miss,
And I have. I thought I had supplied some records on that to the solicitor, but I'm not.
okay,
sure.
I'm going to ask again.
I haven't received anything.
Understood. I'm going to ask again. Miss Bird, have you had a conversation with your attorney?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
It was a brief conversation.
Do you understand the difference between a trial and a plea?
Not necessarily.
Okay. Mr. Rafaf, I'm going to reset, unless you want to discuss, she can call you and y'all can talk about it today and see if you can resolve it today. Or I can reset it to December 9th for a possible final plea.
I'd rather you reset it to December 9th. I've had numerous conversations with this client and her mother. That's all I can say. I understood they wanted me to request a jury trial, but I don't have any problem resetting it for the 9th because there's several things going on with her about her mental health. So we can reset it to the 9th.
Miss Bird, I need you, today is November 4th. I need you to make sure that you speak to your attorney and understand the difference between taking a plea or asking for a trial. This case is going to be postponed for quite a period of time if you're asking for a jury trial.
Okay.
So if you want to resolve the case today or on December 9th, I beg you to speak to your attorney and understand the difference.
Okay.
So you can make an intelligent, knowing choice of what you want to do.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay? Telling me that you don't understand and you don't necessarily know the difference is very, very troubling. And I hope all of the other defendants hear this also. If you're asking for a jury trial, I have no idea when the case is going to go to trial. But if
Your
you're
Honor,
asking-
additionally, the victim in this case is the mother, so I'm sure there is a no further violent contact or no further contact order. Either way, it's difficult to imagine that a jury trial would be a proper disposition when the defendant and the victim are deciding they should have one.
I don't know Ms. Marshall's story because I don't know the intimate details of the clients in this particular case. So Mr. Rafaf would be the best person to advise the court on that. But I do know I want Mr. Rafaf to perhaps educate Ms. Bird further on the difference between a plea offer in this case and the trial, because right now she's in front of me and she has no clue about the difference. Okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So the Chastity Bird is reset to December 9th. Ms. Bird, you will get notice to come back to court. All right. You have any other questions?
No, ma'am.
All right, is that your mom? All right, and why don't both of you step outside and have a conversation? And you explain to her what I said. Are you able to?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Okay, any other attorneys want to make an announcement on a case I've not addressed yet?
Your Honor, I also have number 4 on that same calendar. Apparently, I don't have that calendar. Mahogany Hill.
Mahogany Hill, Mahogany Jaquay Hill. She's present. And Miss Hill, have you spoken to your attorney, Mr. Rafaf?
No, not since last time.
I don't know, what's the last time?
Yeah, and I don't believe I've talked to her.
We have
Okay, we're here for a status calendar. I was hoping that you all had spoken, had the discussion.
An
What's your, have a seat. No, not you. I'm sorry, the lady behind you. Okay.
I'm not mom. I just had a question.
All right, Miss Mahogany Hill, how old are you?
I'm about to be 25 in January.
25, you're a grown adult, okay. So, Mr. Rafaf, you've not spoken to Miss Mahogany Hill?
I think my investigator did, and I was not able to get in touch with her, but I need to talk to her.
What's
If
your
it's
phone
okay
number?
with the court, no, I can come down there because of Miss,
I would love for you to come down, Mr.
I would
Rafaf.
like to come down because if you could have the Bird, Miss Chastity Bird stay there too.
Can we ask Miss Bird and her mother to stay? They're in the hallway talking.
And then I could talk to Miss Hill.
Thank you, Deputy. All
Because I
right.
did have a recommendation, I believe, but
Okay,
I have not talked to her. I don't believe. I know my investigator did to make sure she was going to be there today, but I called and I never got
Mr.
him.
Rafaf, yes, please, we would love to have you in courtroom
Okay,
G33.
down.
Thank you. All
Take
right.
about 10
Miss
minutes.
Hill, have a seat. Mr. Rafaf will come by and speak to you. Okay.
And Your
Um,
Honor, I have a brief announcement if the court's willing to
Yes,
entertain it
Mr.
at this time.
Trejo?
Yes, ma'am. So I represent Darius Mullen. That's position 8 on the
8.
Orca C as in cat status conference.
That is
calendar.
correct, yeah.
Yes, ma'am. So I've just been on the phone with Mr. Mullen. He is on the call right now, and at this time we would like to enter a not guilty plea and set it for a trial calendar.
Mr. Mullen, Mr. Mullen?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. All right, please mute your screen. All right, this is position 8 on the Orca C calendar. Mr. Mullen, through the Public Defender's Office, is entering a not guilty plea. The case will be scheduled for, do you want a bench trial? Mr. Mullen, please mute your screen, or we
There we
can
go.
mute it. Mr. Mullen, on a bench trial, we can reset it for Orca C calendar would be January 20th.
We've discussed a jury trial, Your Honor.
Okay, it'll be reset for a jury trial. Mr. Trejo, if you file a written waiver of arraignment
Yes, ma'am.
today, and the case, and we will issue a case management order.
Great. Thank you very much, Your Honor.
They're
And may
waiting.
my client be excused, ma'am?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mullen, and Mr. Trejo, if that's your only case, then that's good.
It is, Your
Okay.
Honor. I'll be
Judge
taking
Lau.
notes for the PD's
Judge
office
Lau,
in terms
I'm
of how
sorry.
everything else wraps up, so I'll stay on the call.
Oh, okay, all right. Mr.
Thank you,
Rafaf,
Your
yes, sir?
Courtroom, which courtroom are we in?
G33 and 160 Prior
All right.
Street.
I'm down there. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Please mute your screen, sir. Thank you. Okay. Position 1 on Orca C calendar. Mr. Weiner, who's your client again?
Roger Budd, Your Honor.
Got it. Okay. All right. Do we have the paperwork for Mr. Budd? All right, Mr. Budd, there he is. And your
Yes, Your
counsel
Honor.
right there.
I'm here.
Okay. We are addressing 19 CR 007432F, State versus Roger Budd, accused of battery against a person who is 65 or older and 1 count of simple battery from May 21st, 2019. Mr. Budd, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney, and Mr. Steve Weiner is going to be representing you. We do have the alleged victim also present on the Zoom calendar, Ms. O'Neill, and we are going to proceed with a plea hearing. Is this a negotiated plea, Ms.?
Marshall Story. Yes, Your Honor, it is.
Okay, so I'm going to first address Mr. Budd. Mr. Budd, I'm going to have the prosecutor tell me what are the details of the plea agreement, and then your attorney will give me any other additional information, after which I'm going to ask you some questions to make sure that the plea you are entering is willingly, knowingly, and intelligently done. So for purposes of this plea, may I place you under oath?
Yes, Your Honor.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
I do.
Thank you, sir. All right, Ms. Marshall Story, are we proceeding with both charges or just one?
No, Your Honor, the state will submit a null process for the first count, the battery against a person who is 65 years or older.
Okay,
We are proceeding on the second count, the simple battery. The defendant has agreed to plead guilty to the charge of simple battery. In exchange for pleading guilty to that charge, the state is recommending 12 months probation, 3 anger management classes, no further violent contact with Carolyn O'Neill. And the state has no objection to probation, either suspending or going non-reporting after the anger management classes have been completed. And I believe defense counsel has an additional request for the court.
Okay, I just want to make sure I understand. You have no objection to probation terminating or non-reporting?
I have no objection to either.
Okay. Yes. Mr. White?
Judge, that's correct. And Mr. Budd's planning to quickly do these 3 classes. We are also asking that he be sentenced under the First Offender Act. He has no prior history, and we think it would be appropriate. And we would ask the court to consider terminating the probation after the completion of the requirements.
Okay, I have nolo contendere circled as opposed to a guilty plea. Is that acceptable to the state as well?
Yes, Your Honor, that was part of our negotiations,
Okay. Any objection to being sentenced under the First Offender Act?
not from the state.
All right. Okay, and Mr. Weiner, do you stipulate to the factual basis, venue, and ID for the charge of simple battery only?
That's correct, Judge. We do stipulate.
All right, thank you. Mr. Budd, have you consumed any medication or alcohol lately?
No, Your Honor.
And are you able to understand the nature of these proceedings?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you satisfied with your attorney?
I am, Your Honor.
And has anyone forced you or induced you to take this plea today?
No, ma'am.
And has your attorney explained the consequences of being sentenced by entering a nolo contendere plea and under the First Offender Act?
Yes, Your Honor.
And have you understood his explanations,
Yes, Your Honor.
including the fact that if you violate the terms of your probation or if you get arrested again, that the protections of the First Offender Act would be suspended?
Yes, Your Honor.
And he's also explained that taking a plea may affect your residency if it's applicable to your particular case. It may affect your job, any professional licenses you may have, or have a negative impact on any other open cases that may be pending against you if that's applicable.
Yes, Your Honor.
Finally, in order to accept this plea, you would have to waive your constitutional rights to a trial before a judge or a jury, to have the assistance of counsel, to be able to confront your accuser, examine witnesses, challenge the state's evidence, present any defenses if you choose to do so, as well as have the state try to prove the original charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to waive these rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
How do you plead to 1 count of simple battery?
Well, I guess guilty is the correct answer, or is nolo contendere the answer?
Nolo contendere.
So again, how do you plead to 1 count of simple battery?
Nolo contendere.
Thank
Your
you.
Honor.
I like an affirmative response as opposed to a question. Okay. All right, I will accept your nolo contendere plea to, and your sentence will be under the terms of the First Offender Act. Obviously, if there are any, touch wood, never again, any subsequent criminal proceedings, the admissibility of this particular conviction cannot be used against you. Mr. Budd, your sentence is 12 months probation, and during which time you would need to complete 3 anger management classes by a program that's approved by your probation officer. You are to have no further violent contact with Carolyn O'Neill. Miss O'Neill, I did not address you because I wasn't informed that you had any objection to this particular plea offer at this time. Do you have anything to add? Miss O'Neill, can you hear me? Carolyn O'Neill?
She was present. I don't know that I see her
She's
now.
present.
Judge.
Her audio is not working. Is a victim advocate,
O-
if you want to reach out to her?
Yeah. I do see her. Doesn't look like she's on mute.
Miss Carolyn O'Neill. Yeah, I don't hear her.
Oh.
All right, moving on with the sentence, Mr. Budd, you will have to report to, Mr. Weiner, is he able to report to probation next Thursday?
Judge, he can, if possible. He lives in St. Simons, and if he could potentially reach out to probation, either by phone or by
Well, it's
Zoom.
difficult. He needs to create his probation case, set up his schedule and report to probation so they can monitor his, what I will allow is for counsel to report to probation to create his probation case. It's at 132 Mitchell Street. Would that be a horrible imposition, Mr. Weiner? Oh, you're on mute, sir, so I'm not sure whether you're cursing at me or you're agreeing with me. Okay.
Laughing. No, it's
Okay,
just,
sorry.
um,
Okay,
just that he'll come up on Thursday, and then hopefully he and the probation office can
All right.
work that out to where he doesn't have to come again.
all
So,
right. It's 132 Mitchell Street and it's he'll just need to report to probation. They create a case. They would need his current contact information. He can report the first time, pay probation fees the first time. And if he completes the 3 anger management classes within the 30 days, the probation will terminate.
Great.
All right.
Perfect, Judge.
Miss O'Neill, can you hear me, dear? Carolyn O'Neill?
She's not connected to the audio, but she's on the phone.
Has she indicated that she has any objection to the plea?
She said no, she's fine.
All right. It's been announced by victim advocate that the alleged victim is satisfied with the plea offer.
Yes,
that
Your Honor, there are no objections by
All right.
the witness.
All right. This concludes our case. Thank you, Ms. Warner. Mr. Butt?
I'm sorry,
Thank you, Your Honor.
I emailed counsel and asked them, could you report the offer paying 2 and 3 of the plea and verdict statement? I don't have that information.
Okay, that's you, Mr. Weiner.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Weiner, we don't have all the pages for the plea and verdict form. There's supposed to be 4 pages. You had 2. Could you check with the office?
Yes, I believe Mr. Warner was sending them piecemeal. There were some changes that needed to be made. So Mr. Warner, can you just send the completed packet in full to Ms. Bolton?
You're on
You're on
mute,
mute.
Mr. Weiner. You're on mute, sir.
Sorry. Judge, just for the record, I will send it. There was one document that I'd never seen before asking the attorney to sign off that he has agreed to this. And I've never seen that in any documentation. So I wasn't planning on signing that one piece of paper. And if the
All
court
right.
has,
Just send the document and indicate your objection to it on the
that's
paper.
fine, Judge.
Okay.
That's fine.
I have counsel online. I've also forwarded you the probation contact form. So the information is at the top. If you will just have your client, you or your client complete that form and just email it back with the other documents. That would be perfect.
Mr. Weiner, did you hear Ms. Bolton?
I could not hear her, Judge.
Okay, she has emailed the information with regards to the probation office and the information that needs to be filled out by your client.
Perfect.
If you or your client can complete that and send it back to Ms. Bolton, that would help facilitate the case.
Great. And I will get the other documentation, send it in one package.
Okay, it really helps if we send
I
all the
understand.
documents as a package rather than piecemeal. All right, I don't think I have anything else to add. Mr. Budd, best of luck with the anger management classes. We're all jealous that you'll get to face the beach, but you know, that is life.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right.
Thank
take
you,
care.
Judge. Take
Thank you.
care.
You too. Bye-bye. Mr. Arrington, sir, you good?
Yes, ma'am, Judge, I'm ready.
All right. And your client is C3 on the final plea calendar? All right.
And Your Honor, can
Go ahead.
Can you ask them to check the chat, please?
Who, Mr. Arrington?
Yeah.
Mr. Arrington, can you check your chat feature? Apparently, you've got a request from Ms. Bolton regarding your case.
Okay, give me 1 second, Judge.
Yeah, whether it's guilty or no, and he's not signed off on the paperwork. Let's see. Yeah, he's not signed off. I'm sorry. Yeah, and it's not signed off by council. Mr. Arrington, we're just reviewing the plea documents. There isn't anything particularly wrong, except there's just missing a couple of signatures. So is this a plea offer to plead guilty to reckless driving?
It is, Your Honor.
Okay, so I'm going to circle the word guilty. And then on the soliloquy of questions that your client goes over is already signed off by your client, but it's not signed off by you, which is the 4th page of the verdict form.
Okay, let me see if I can.
Yeah, you need to sign page 1, which is the plea and verdict form, and then the last page. It's just missing
Okay.
the attorney's signatures. All right.
I will do that and send it to you immediately, Your
All
Honor.
right. But I wanted to confirm that your client is pleading guilty to 1 count of reckless driving. So I'm ready to proceed if you are.
Yeah.
All right. Tunisia Baker, there you are, dear.
Yes,
Ms.
ma'am.
Baker, all right. Ms. Baker, my name is Judge Lal, and we are addressing your case 19 CR 004-187F. The original charges, excuse me, the position number 3, there we go. All right, the original charges against Ms. Baker were failure to obey traffic signs, signals, and markings, failure to maintain lane or improper lane change, reckless driving, and driving under the influence of alcohol less safe, stemming from a June 28, 2018 incident. Ms. Baker, you've already been advised of your right to remain silent. Your attorney is Mr. Marvin Arrington, now Junior, sorry. And with regards to this case, this is going to be a negotiated plea. So may I place you under oath?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
All right. And with regards to Ms. Baker, this is going to be Ms. Marshall Story prosecuting this matter. Ms. Marshall Story, is it correct that the state is going to null for us the remaining charges and only pursue a reckless driving?
Your Honor, that is correct, and I will forward that null process to Ms. Bolton after the completion of the plea.
We appreciate that. Thank you. So with regards to the plea offer on reckless driving, what's the state's position?
Your Honor, the state's position is 12 months to serve 12 months incarceration to serve 24 hours, credit for time served, balance probated, a $1,000 fine, 240 hours of community service, the risk reduction program, alcohol drug evaluation and treatment if mandated, 2 victim impact panels, and again, the remaining charges will be dismissed.
Okay. So it's 12 months probation to serve 24 hours, credit for time served 24 hours, and then balance probated with those conditions.
Yes,
All
Your
right.
Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Arrington, are those the terms to which your client has accepted?
It is, Your Honor.
And with regards to these conditions, do you, with regards to the sole offense of reckless driving, does your client stipulate to the factual basis, venue, and ID?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you. Anything else to add, Mr. Arrington?
Judge, we would just ask the court to accept the plea as negotiated.
All right.
And we would also ask that the probation be terminated upon completion of the requirements.
I can put it on non-reporting. Is that acceptable?
It is, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Baker, have you consumed any medication or alcohol recently?
No.
And have you understood the proceedings so far?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you satisfied with the representation you've received?
Yes.
And with regard to this case, when you were discussing the plea offer with your attorney, did he explain to you that in entering of such a plea offer that you will be waiving your constitutional rights?
Yes.
And also, was it explained to you that it could have an adverse impact upon your residency if that's relevant?
Yes, ma'am.
and an adverse impact on any open cases if that's relevant,
Yes,
as well as in any professional licenses or your job if relevant.
yes,
Okay, just to reiterate, if you decide to plead guilty to reckless driving, the state's going to dismiss the other charges, but you would also have to waive your constitutional right to a trial, to have the assistance of counsel so that you may appear in open court to confront your accuser, challenge the state's evidence, examine witnesses, present any defenses if you choose to do so, and have the state try to prove the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to waive these rights?
yes.
How do you plead to one count of reckless driving?
Guilty.
Right? I accept your guilty plea. Ms. Baker, your sentence is 12 months to serve 24 hours, credit for time served, 24 hours. Your case will be placed on probation. You will report to probation next Thursday at 132 Mitchell Street in downtown Atlanta. Did you write that down?
No, I didn't write it down. I'll write it down right now. Next Thursday,
Next Thursday, November 10th.
I will be traveling next Thursday.
Well, next Thursday is your probation date.
Okay,
All right, you need to be, go to your probation officer. I can push it to Wednesday
yes,
because,
that would be great.
okay, let's do it Wednesday, November 9th.
Okay,
I hope probation has all your paperwork by then. All right,
not a problem. So 130 Mitchell Street, you said?
132 Mitchell Street, downtown Atlanta.
Okay,
Okay,
November
and
9th.
make sure you get there before 3 p.m. because they'll need to create your probation case. Make sure you give them your current contact information. And
Okay.
while you're on probation, you will pay $1,000 fine. You will complete 240 hours of voluntary community service at any nonprofit agency, which is not a school and not a religious organization.
Okay,
You need to complete a risk reduction course by a qualified program. Submit yourself for an alcohol and drug evaluation by a healthcare provider and accept any treatment at your expense if recommended by the evaluator. You will also attend and complete 2 victim impact panel programs. You must make sure that whichever program you accept to complete your conditions, that they are acceptable to your probation officer, okay?
okay,
And once you complete all the conditions, I will then place you on non-reporting probation.
all righty. Thank you so much.
All right. Mr. Arrington, please resubmit the documents with your signature. And that would close out this case for probation. The sooner you do it, the sooner we can get it to probation so that she can make it on Wednesday.
Yes, ma'am, Judge, I am sending that email as we speak.
All right.
So, I'm sorry, let me know that I'm reporting the probation contact on
All right.
completed and email back.
Mr. Arrington, litigation manager, Ms. Bolton, has also sent you an email on the probation information, fill out information that needs to be filled out and sent back to her.
Yes, ma'am, I will make sure that we get it done, and I just sent her the requested paperwork.
All right. Well, don't make Ms. Bolton chase you. I wouldn't want to be in your shoes if she does. Okay. Thank you, Ms.
Yes, ma'am.
Baker. You're
Thank
free
you
to
so
go.
much, Turner.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Judge.
Have a great
That's
day.
all that I have, ma'am. Be excused.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. This is Mr. Butt's information. And you're still waiting on the other documents from Mr. Weiner, right?
Yes.
Hi, my name is Adriana Martin. I don't have any information. I gave my information to the public defender last time I was in court last month, and I haven't heard anything from anybody. I don't have any information from this case. I don't have a ticket. haven't been locked up for this case. I don't know what's going on.
Okay, just hold. All right, ladies and gentlemen, do I have any attorneys who just joined the Zoom? All right. Public Defender's Office, Mr. Trejo, Ms. Helen, are you all familiar with Adriana Martin? Okay, let's hold and see what's going on.
Not at the
Okay.
moment, Your Honor. I'm
No,
sorry.
Your Honor.
We
Okay.
can take a look, and if Ms. Martin knows who she spoke to, we can certainly follow up with that person and see what the status of her application is.
All right, Mr. Trejo, why don't you send your email to Ms. Martin on the chat? Ms. Martin, check your chat and then resubmit the paperwork directly to Attorney Javier Trejo.
That would be perfect. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. All right,
Your
I
Honor.
got some folks in the courtroom that I need to address, and then I'll address the rest of you who are in the comfort of a Zoom situation. Okay. Yes, counsel?
Oh, I was just gonna say, I believe I have one position, position number 5, Mr. Joseph Latham. I don't actually have a calendar. I just have an email from one of my colleagues.
Okay.
I believe he has several positions on the calendar.
Your Honor, that would be the Orca C final plea calendar. Mr. Latham has position number 4, 5, and 6.
And ladies first, I'll let Miss Marshall Story go first.
Actually, no, it's fine. My concern, though, is that he appears to be represented on position number 4 by Judy Kim. I don't know that she is representing him on the other cases or that she is on the Zoom.
Judy Kim is one of our first appearances, public defenders. I don't know if that attorney is actually going to be representing.
No, I think, is Judy Kim the public defender or Judy Kim the private attorney?
Correct, Judge, correct.
Which
There's
one?
two. There's two.
Correct.
I don't know which is which.
It's
I
Helen?
don't know if it's private attorney Kim or public defender Kim.
Judge, if you'll give me 1 second, I believe I have Judy Kim's phone number.
Okay.
If you'd like, I'll call her.
Is Joseph Warren on the Zoom? Ms. Bolton?
I'm sorry, Your Honor, I have an announcement. October 7th, October 7th, it was added. And it was to hire new counsel, so I'm not sure if Judy Kim is the attorney of record.
The only,
That's what I have here for the
Excuse me, Your Honor. Mr. Jordan is sending the link to Attorney Kim. She'll be logging in shortly. Thank you.
all right, appreciate it. Thank you. So let's see, Ms. Kim. So, counsel, I'm sorry, last name again?
Lance Patrick.
Mr. Patrick, can't believe I'm sorry, I just zapped out of my brain.
She's not my attorney no more, ma'am.
Who's that?
This is Joseph Latham.
Oh, okay. Thank you. All right.
Your Honor, I have had
Mr.
no,
Latham is on the screen. Do you see him?
yes, ma'am. I have had no communication with him on position number 5 because in an abundance of caution, generally when an attorney takes one case, they take all of the pending cases.
Okay.
So I have not had any contact with him.
Well, let's find out from him then.
Okay.
Let's see what's going on. Mr. Latham, can you please sit up? I don't know where you are.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'm trying to. I was in a motorcycle wreck, ma'am.
Okay. Mr. Latham, let's change the screen name from iPhone to Joseph Warren Latham. Thank you. All right, Mr. Latham, I don't know what time you joined in, but please understand that you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, you would need to apply with the Public Defender's Office to see if you qualify for their services. Otherwise, you have a right to appear in person. Otherwise you have a right to represent yourself or hire a private attorney. And I have Ms. Judy Kim, the private counsel, on Zoom. Ms. Kim, good morning.
Morning, Judge. Apologies. Couldn't find the link forever and had another hearing.
Not a problem. I'm glad you're here. So I just wanted to make sure that there's no confusion because we do have a Miss Kim who works for the Public Defender's Office. So do you represent Joseph Latham or have you withdrawn?
Judge, I have not officially withdrawn. He does not want my services any further. So, but he did tell me he was in a horrific, catastrophic motorcycle accident. So he has been kind of out of work. So he's had a difficult time finding another attorney, but he does want me to withdraw. If you would allow, Judge, may I submit an order for your consideration this morning?
Mr. Joseph Warren, your case was previously scheduled to address your matter. Ms. Kim entered an entry of appearance to represent you. If you choose to allow Ms. Kim to withdraw from this case, you will be without counsel and you will be responsible for understanding what your legal decisions are and how they impact the facts of your case. Do you consent to Judy Kim withdrawing as counsel from your 3 cases?
Yes, ma'am. I'm in the process of hiring an attorney.
All right, Ms. Kim, if you will submit a proposed order to Ms. Bolton, and this will be a withdrawal of the 3 cases, 19 CR 003-159F, 20 CR 006-119F, and 20 CR 006-121F. All right, and you're free to stay or free to leave unless you have any other cases, Ms. Kim?
No, Judge, I'll just grab Ms. Bolton's email address. After that, may I be excused?
Yes.
She just texted it, chatted it to me.
Yeah, it's Brandy with 2 E's .Bolton at fultoncountyga.gov. Okay, thank you. All right, Mr. Latham, let's address your cases. These were all scheduled for a final plea through counsel. That means that you, through counsel, was about to take a plea offer recommended by the state with regards to your 3 cases. These cases have been pending since 2019 and 2020. Let's see now. Don't say anything until I find out exactly. This is Orca C scheduled for a final plea. Mr. Kim was scheduled, Miss Kim was going to represent you for all 3 cases. All right. This case was reset. Mr. Latham, are you on?
Yes, ma'am. I'm here.
Okay. This case was, you made bond in this case, in all your case, March 17, 2019. On January 13, 2020, we had Miss Judy Kim enter an appearance in January of 2020. She filed a waiver of arraignment. She obtained discovery. So she's been working on this case. On August 26th of this year, your case was reset to October 7th for you to hire new counsel. On October 7th, 2022, your case was reset again because for a final plea. In other words, you are willing to accept the plea offer recommended by the prosecutor. Now you're asking me to reset your case again? Mr. Latham, I'm not inclined to do so.
The only reason I'm asking, ma'am, whatever, 3 days after my last court date or whatever, I was in a real bad motorcycle accident. I've been out of work. I've been pretty much bed stricken for the last 8 weeks or whatever. I'm just now getting where I can sit up and move. About 6% of my body was, I got road rash, extremely bad. And if you know anything about road rash, it's kind of like a burn. If you move or let sun hit it or anything like that, it's like a blowtorch being on you, ma'am. And I have been, I've been just down. I have not been able to do anything. at all, work or do anything, ma'am. And I'm just kind of throwing myself at the court mercy, you know what I mean? I'm in the process now. I'm talking to 2 attorneys now, whatever. And as soon as I can, come and get the money up in the next few weeks, I'm gonna pay them and then we'll have an attorney, so, ma'am.
Well, you've had an attorney since 2020, so I'm
Is it-
assuming you've had some discussions before your unfortunate incident.
Yes, ma'am. It just didn't work out, ma'am.
What didn't work out?
Just her. I mean, my other attorneys, it just didn't work out.
Well, do you understand the plea offers that were made by the state?
Yes, ma'am. I believe, if I remember correctly, I think I do, yes. Two of the cases, whatever, are false or whatever, and I don't want to take a plea on things I didn't do, ma'am. And so that's why I'm really pushing it to hire my own attorney.
Mr. Patrick?
Your Honor, at this point, he has expressed that he's not guilty. The state would ask that this be placed on a jury trial calendar.
That's
Jury?
fine.
Yeah, to preserve his right, since he is not currently represented. If the state were to take a plea from a person who is asking to hire new counsel and is professing that he is not guilty of 2 of the charges, the state is quite certain that we would get that case back.
Thank you.
So given that he is not represented, the state would at this point ask for a jury trial to ensure that if his new attorney wishes to waive jury, we can certainly do that. If his new attorney wants to plea, we can do that on the jury trial calendar. But
I'm not
Thank you.
putting it on a jury trial calendar yet.
okay,
This was reset multiple times. And Mr. Latham has numerous opportunities to speak to his attorney since 2020. And I'm not going to let him try to exercise his dilatory tactics. I appreciate he's had an unfortunate incident, but he's had multiple years now to resolve this case or to demand a trial.
yes, Judge.
I'm trying to see which cases have been arraigned. Let me see. Position 119 CR. Mr. Latham, I hope you have a pen and paper so that you can keep track of your cases since you've chosen to represent yourself at the present time.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Joseph Latham on 19 CR 003159F, accused of battery and simple battery from February 16, 2019. I do see that Ms. Kim did file a waiver of arraignment and enter a not guilty plea on January 13, 2020. And discovery should have already been concluded in that case. So this case is ready for a plea or a trial. In regards to position number 5, 20 CR 006119F. Mr. Latham is charged with hunting offenses, including hunting without permission, criminal trespass, expired or no license, or fishing or hunting without a license from a October 2020 incident. A waiver of arraignment was filed on December 21st, 2020. This case is going to be reset for a final plea or trial. And with regards to the third case, 20 CR 006121F, Mr. Latham was accused of theft by taking from March 1st, 2020. He had an initial appearance on December 21st, 2020. This case has not been arraigned. All right. Mr. Latham, with regards to the first two cases I mentioned, you've already entered a not guilty plea, so the cases are going to be reset for a final plea or a trial. And you must have an attorney or represent yourself
Yes, ma'am.
on the next court date.
Yes,
On
ma'am.
the third case, the incident from March 2020 in which you have been accused of theft by taking, I will arraign the case today, and which means that this case is also going to be reset for a final plea or a trial. Whoever you hire as an attorney, let them know that your cases have all been arraigned.
Yes, ma'am.
Discovery was already ongoing and
ma'am.
concluded in the first two cases. And they may still request discovery in the third case, but whatever happens, I am not engaging in any more dilatory tactics because you've had multiple opportunities
Yes,
to
ma'am.
resolve this case.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Yes, ma'am.
On the position 20 CR 006-121F, State versus Latham, accused of theft by taking on March 1st, 2020, allegedly in Fulton County. Mr. Latham, you've been advised of your right to remain silent and your right to counsel. Do you want me to read the accusation or do you waive a reading of the charge?
No, I waive the reading. I have it.
Okay. Mr. Latham, you've been accused of this misdemeanor offense as I've indicated. You do have a right to a trial, and because you are legally presumed innocent of this charge. At the time of the trial, the state has the complete burden to prove the charge against you beyond a reasonable doubt and overcome your legal presumption of innocence. If the state prevails, you could be convicted and sentenced to up to a year in prison and or up to $1,000 fine for the convicted offense. Given this information, how do you plead?
Not guilty.
All right. This case has been arraigned. We are going to issue a case management order for position number 6. All three cases are going to be reset to January 20th for a trial and or a final plea.
Yes, ma'am.
You must retain
ma'am.
counsel within the next 10 days.
Yes, ma'am.
When must you retain counsel?
When? In the next 10 days, ma'am.
You said, that's right. And this is reset to January 20th, 2023 for a trial or a final plea.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Marshall, is it Mr. Marshall's story? Oh, Mr. Patrick, you're the prosecutor for all these three cases, right?
I'm the prosecutor for position number 5, Judge.
Just 5? What happened to the other 2?
Ms. Marshall Story will have those.
Oh, Mr.
I handle the.
You're gonna have to hold 1 second. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I handle the cases for, in Orca, Judge, I handle the cases for the Georgia Department of Natural Resources.
I see.
Solicitor's Office.
Yes, Your Honor. I have the other 2 cases. I'm sorry. We were addressing Miss Bird and trying to figure out what to go do there. How can I assist the court?
Well, I reset it for January 20th, 2023 for
Okay.
a bench trial or a final plea.
Is that for all 3 cases?
Yes. Mr. Patrick is going to prosecute the cases involving the Department of Natural Resources, and which is position 4, position 5.
Position 5,
right?
yes. Mhm.
And then you have the pleasure of prosecuting positions 4 and position 6.
Okay, and that's final plea or bench trial?
That's correct. And Mr. Latham must retain counsel by within the next 10 days. And I don't know what that date is, but let's see, it'll be the 7th, 8th. Now, oh yeah, by November 14th,
Yes, ma'am.
right after my birthday. So I'll be looking out for that.
Will the case come back before the court on the 14th?
Yes, hopefully before me.
So we're looking at 2 dates, the 14th of November and then.
No, not the 14th. No. The 14th is Mr. Latham's deadline to retain counsel. And the January 20th, 2023 is the trial/plea calendar.
Okay, I can put my information in the chat for Mr. Latham if his attorney wants to get in contact with me regarding the two cases that do not involve the Department of Natural Resources.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you,
All
ma'am.
right, Mr. Latham, look at the chat feature for your, for Miss Marshall's story, okay? And then get all the
Okay.
information before you leave the Zoom, okay?
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Ms. Patrick,
And with that, the Georgia Department of Natural Resources business before your court is complete. May I-
thank you, sir. Y'all still prosecute boating under the influence?
Yes.
Oh,
We don't get a whole lot of that in Fulton County because we only have the Chattahoochee.
well, that'll be challenging to do that, but
But I think boating under the influence follows the same as driving, and it has to be a motorized conveyance.
I used to have the pleasure of presiding over those cases with OSA. So,
Oh,
so that was one of my favorite cases.
And,
Type.
and
the
Judge,
best is,
Oh, just one second.
the best is when you get a commercial ship captain. Because that is technically a DNR case itself,
That's true.
but usually the feds take that.
It's been a long while, but it's good to see you.
You too, Judge.
Take care.
Thank
Yes,
you.
Ms. Ellen?
I apologize, Judge. I just wanted to let the court know we're ready on position 3. Harold Charles, I've been informed that he is there present in the court.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry, for position for Latham, I need to, information also.
Mr. Latham, are you present?
Your Honor, it looks like he left the chat before I could send it. It says he's not in the meeting any longer.
Sorry, guys.
Well, we did try.
Okay.
And Your Honor, regarding Ms. Martin's case, that is position 6, I believe, on the C calendar. It appears that Ms. Martin did speak with Mr. Raffoff, and it does appear that she qualifies. I've just gotten a copy of her application. I know that he is on his way to the courthouse to handle some business in person, so he should be in front of you shortly and can give the appropriate announcement at that time.
Okay. Counsel Tom Ford, who is your client? I have Tom Ford for Percy Edison.
Good afternoon. Good morning. Yeah. Yes, Your Honor. Can you hear me okay?
I can't see you. I saw
Yeah.
something in bright orange, so there we go. Okay.
Well, that's me. I'm the guy in bright orange. I'm in Tennessee right now at a retirement center on an emergency regarding my
Very muffled, Mr. Ford. Yeah, very muffled. So I recommend that you close your video so that it doesn't load up the broadband. Okay. All right. What was, you have Percy June Anderson, position 2 for a final plea. Are we ready to proceed?
Can you hear me better?
Much better.
Is that better now?
Yeah, much better. Yes.
Sorry, Your Honor. I'm out of town on a family emergency is the reason I'm in this attire. I'm in a retirement center right now with my father. So is it possible that we could continue this final plea calendar respectfully, Your Honor?
Who is the prosecutor for this?
I can't get the
This is my case, Your Honor, ASG Riley. Mr. Ford has been given the plea paperwork. We're just waiting for him to complete it and send it back.
Okay, I'm going to reset it to December 9th for a final plea.
December 9th. Thank you, Your Honor.
And Mr. Ford,
We'll have it resolved then.
Yeah, when you get a moment, please complete the plea paperwork and email that back to Ms. Denise Riley so that the court can get it for the plea hearing.
I shall, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, sir.
Does your,
Best of luck.
Do you have my email, tomfordlawyer@gmail.com?
Mr. Ford, I've already sent the paperwork to you with Ms. Bolton.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Ford. Best of luck. Sorry to hear about that. Thank you. All right, position 2 on the Orca C final plea calendar reset to December 9th for a final plea. Okay, do I have any other attorneys who popped up on Zoom?
Good morning, Judge.
Yes, Mr. Mesmo, who do you represent?
Alfred Phillips, Judge. He's set for a plea this morning.
Yes, is your client present?
I'm looking.
Alfred Phillips, yes, I see someone wearing a mask. Can you remove your mask if you're,
Alfred, you're on mute.
no, he's got a beard. I'm so sorry. It's rather dark in that room, so it's not a mask, it's a beard. Okay, sorry about that, sorry.
Judge, I
Okay,
apologize. You had to wait on me. I had to be in spirit for it.
okay, no problem. Okay, I've got a, Ms. Bolton, did you receive the completed paperwork from Marvin Arrington?
Yes, Your Honor, I think this is the.
No, that's from Mr. Weiner, I think. And that's signed off already. Okay. All right, I'm ready on Harold Charles and Alfred Phillips. Miss Helen, you said you're ready on the plea for Harold Charles? Patrice Helen? Okay, we'll hold off on Mr. Charles. All right, Mr. Harlem, are we ready to proceed? Maslum, excuse me, are we ready to proceed with your client?
I am, Judge.
All right, and who's prosecuting this case? This is position,
Your Honor, it's my case, Erica
Okay.
Marshall Story, position number 8 on the Orca East Status Conference.
all right, thank you. Okay, this is State of Georgia versus Alfred V. Phillips III, case number 20 CR 0005544Y. Mr. Phillips was accused of battery, family violence. Mr. Phillips, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say about the facts of your case, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney, and representing you at the present time is Mr. Maxi Masloon. That's the correct name, right, Mr. Masloon? Because I'm reading it off the screen.
It's Mozzie Masloon, Judge. That's correct.
Mozzie Masloon, sorry, sir. Okay, Mr. Phillips, we're going to address a plea hearing in regards to your case. So this is a negotiated plea, so I need to place you under oath. Mr. Phillips, please raise your right hand.
All right.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Marshall Story, what is the plea offer for Mr. Alfred Phillips?
Your Honor, on a plea to the battery family violence charge, the sentence recommendation from the state is 12 months to serve 48 hours, which the defendant has done. Credit for time served, the balance probated, 3 anger management classes, a $500 fine, and no further violent contact with Alfred Phillips Jr.
Mr. Masloom, are those the terms to which your client has agreed, and do you stipulate to the factual basis, venue, and ID for battery, domestic violence?
Judge, I do agree. We do stipulate the facts, but I think we discussed anger assessment. It's actually instead of the 3 classes, and that's what's noted on the plea form as well.
And my apologies, Your Honor, the anger assessment is correct.
Thank you.
All right, so it is pleads guilty to battery, 12 months to serve 48 hours, you say, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and credit for time served, 48 hours.
Yes, Your
I'm
Honor.
just making the modification in the paperwork I was given. All right, initially, balance probated and to complete an anger assessment. Has the assessment been completed?
No, it hasn't, but I found.
All right, so, okay. Mr. Phillips, Mr. Phillips, the third, have you consumed any alcohol or medication recently?
No, Your Honor.
And have you understood the proceedings so far?
Yes, Your Honor.
And are you satisfied with your attorney?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And has your attorney explained to you that by entering a guilty plea to this charge, that you are waiving your constitutional rights to a trial, and that it may have an adverse impact on your residency, any other open cases, or any professional licenses that you may have?
Yes, Your Honor.
And have you understood his explanations?
Yes, I have.
All right. Just to reiterate, Mr. Phillips, If you enter a guilty plea today, you would have to waive your constitutional right to a trial, to have the assistance of counsel so that you could confront your accuser, examine witnesses, challenge the state's evidence, and have the state try to prove the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to waive these rights?
Yes, I am.
How do you plead to one count of battery, domestic violence?
That's guilty.
Repeat.
You say guilty.
I heard a guilty plea. Is that correct, Mr. Phillips?
Correct.
Your sentence is 12 months to serve 48 hours, credit for time served 48 hours. You've completed the jail time, so you will report to, your balance is going to be probated. You'll be required to report to the probation office next Thursday. I hope you have a pen and paper right with you.
Judge, I do. I'll write it and
All
pass it on to him.
Mr. Muslim is going to write that down for you. You report to probation next Thursday, November 10th, 2022. And the location is 132 Mitchell Street in downtown Atlanta. Please report.
Could I say something, Your Honor? I work on Thursday, so could they change it to like a Wednesday?
I'll allow it, but I don't know if probation will have your paperwork by then. Mr. Muslim, we are emailing you a document with the probation contact information and so forth. So the sooner we get the documentation together, I'll allow for a report date of November 9th, 2022. He must be there before 3 p.m. While on probation, he will complete an anger assessment. Any objection to non-reporting, Ms. Marshall-Story?
No, Your Honor.
Right. Mr. Phillips, if you complete the anger assessment program within 30 days while on probation, your probation will then be non-reporting. So you're only obligated to pay your probation fees the first time.
Okay. I have a question, y'all.
Yes.
Do I need to go to probation on that Thursday, you know?
On the 9th, Wednesday, you must be there in person.
Okay. So if I complete the assessment, then will I still have to show up to it?
Mr. Phillips, let's not take up the judge's time. I can explain everything to you after the call.
All right. No, just to summarize, you appear the first time, you complete your assessment, you go back and show proof of the completion of the assessment. If your probation officer is satisfied, then your probation will be non-reporting. But you must show proof of your assessment and make sure that your probation officer signs off on it.
Okay.
All right. And the most important part, no further violent contact with Alfred Phillips Jr. No physical or verbal altercations that may require law enforcement to intervene. Understood?
Understand.
All right. Mr. Muslim, do you have any questions, sir?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. Ms. Casey, do you have any questions before I release them?
I do. What happens to the other charge?
Oh, Ms. Marshall-Story?
I've completed the no process. I'm going to send that over to you now.
Okay, please email that to Ms. Casey Strong.
Will do.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Phillips. If you have any further questions, please reach out to your attorney. Mr. Muslim, any other questions, sir?
No, Judge, that completes my business. May I be excused?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Phillips. Thank you,
I'll
Mr.
give you a
Muslim.
call.
And Judge, can we take Mr. Harold Charles' position next?
Yes, definitely. I called for that, but you didn't sound, so I'm glad you're back. Okay, what was your question, Ms. Bolton?
Your Honor, we have position 2, Mr. Anderson, Orca final plea takes work, and we've already made an announcement. So he's doing it.
Oh, okay. Percy Anderson? And what was the announcement? Who's your attorney?
This case was already set for December 9th.
Oh, I'm sorry. He's in the courtroom. I'm so sorry. Your attorney did appear in that bright orange jacket. Yeah, Tom Ford. Yeah. Mr. Anderson, please come back on December 9th. Hopefully you would have worked out this case with your attorney, and perhaps we can close this matter out on December 9th. Okay? Thank you, sir.
Judge, may I make a quick announcement?
Yes, Mr. Jones, were you present?
Judge, I was on another call.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Who do you represent?
Mr. Johnson, Juan Johnson.
Kawan
Judge, he
Johnson.
sent me a text that his phone is about to die. I was wondering if at some point soon we could take his plea.
Do we have his paperwork to take his plea?
I believe the solicitor has it.
Mr.
I was not
Johnson,
able to, I was not able to sign it, and so my intention was to authorize the court to sign for me.
Okay. Okay, that is position 1 on the Orca C final plea calendar.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I need the plea paperwork. Mr. Johnson, Mr. Kawan, I have Kawan Johnson Alls. Is that correct? Mr. Alls, where are you?
I'm here.
All right. You're in the car. Are you able to go get your your phone charged up via the cable?
No, I'm at work.
So go get it charged, get out of the Zoom, go get your phone charged and then come back in the Zoom.
I'm at work. My charger's at home. I just brought my iPad. I charged it earlier. I've been on here a whole hour. It was fully charged. Now I'm at 7% right now.
I've been in court for 6 hours straight, and I always make sure everything is charged. So if you want to appear via Zoom, that's your responsibility.
I did appear. I've been here an hour.
Yeah, and I've had to deal with all these other cases. You and I can waste more battery power by arguing about this.
Yep, Mr.
But
Johnson.
no, hang on, Mr. Jones. Mr. Alls, you are not, we are not here at your convenience. You are here at the court's convenience.
I know that, ma'am. I'm not arguing. I'm at work.
That's not my problem. You have the opportunity to show up in the courtroom like everybody else is waiting. If you want to appear by Zoom, that's your option. Or you can drive down right now and your attorney can wait until you show up in the courtroom. You are responsible for making sure that your devices are charged and ready, no matter how long you have to wait.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you get the message?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. All right. Mr. Jones, I will address your case as soon as I address the cases which I already called.
I understand, Your Honor.
All right. We have Harold Charles. Is Harold Charles in the courtroom? Come all around this way, sir, to the podium. Thank you very much. Yeah, he needs to sign this. You just sign right next to that. That's the only 2 I have. Thank you. All right. Okay, we are addressing case number 3 on the Orca E status conference calendar. State versus Harold Charles, accused of 2 counts of simple battery. Case number 20 CR 005577Y. The alleged incident occurred on January 30th, 2020 in Fulton County, Georgia. Mr. Charles is present in the courtroom, and Mr. Charles has been advised of his right to remain silent and his right to counsel. His attorney is Ms. Catrice Helen with the Public Defender's Office. Mr. Charles, who is the prosecutor?
I am, Your Honor.
Okay.
Erica
Ms.
Marshall Story.
Thank you. Ms. Marshall Story is the prosecutor in this matter. Ms. Helen, this is a negotiated plea?
That is correct, Judge.
Thank you. Mr. Charles, because this is a negotiated plea, in other words, there's no dispute about the terms of the plea offer, may I place you under oath? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Charles, and thank you for signing the documents again. We are first going to hear from the prosecutor, all right? Ms. Marshall Story, this is proceeding with a plea offer on 2 counts of simple battery.
Your Honor, it's actually 1 count of simple battery. The defendant served 5 days in jail. So the state is requesting 12 months to serve 5 days with credit for time served. The balance probated, 30 hours of community service, 6 anger management classes, and that will close out this case.
All right, is there any contact provisions with regards to the alleged victim?
No further violent contact. Is that correct, Ms. Helen, or no further contact?
No further violent
No
contact.
further violent contact, Your Honor.
And that is with Amaya. Amisha Amaya.
Can they spell that name, Judge? Do you?
I've been advised that the alleged victim was present, but maybe she's.
I'm not sure, Judge. I'm just aware that Mr. Charles is present in court.
I think she's left, right? She was on Zoom. I thought you advised me. Okay, that's all right. Let's go. 1 second. Let's see. Orca E. I have Ashia Glover. Is that correct?
Correct, Judge.
No further violent contact with Ashia Glover.
It's Aisha.
Hmm?
It's Aisha.
Aisha?
Aisha Glover.
Sorry. Is she here?
No, she at work.
Okay. All right. And Miss Helen, and so in that regard, Miss Marshall Story, are you going to null cross 1 count of simple battery?
Yes, I am, Your Honor. And as I have with the previous cases, I'll forward that at the conclusion of the plea.
All right. So this is on 1 count of simple battery only. Okay, Miss Helen, and Miss, I've got a note here that there's a waiver of probation fees and to terminate probation when conditions complete.
That's exactly what I was going to address, Judge. We have
Okay.
agreed that when he completes the conditions, it will terminate, and we have agreed to waive the probation fees.
Any objection to termination, Miss Marshall Story?
No, Your Honor, no objection.
All right. And this is 30 hours and 6 anger management. I will waive probation fees for 4 months. All right.
And Judge, I just want to make sure the plea is correct. I think it was actually served 4 days. I looked up on Odyssey. It was really 4 days of confinement. So I just want to make sure that that's correct. So served 4 days, credit for time served 4 days, balance probated, 30 hours of community service, 6 anger management classes, no further violent contact with Aisha Glover.
And I believe the plea paperwork has 5 days, not 4.
So I'll go ahead and scan that, or if that can be updated in court there,
I'm satisfied it's 4 days. Miss,
Okay.
will the state agree to 12 months to serve 4 days, credit for time served 4 days, just to make sure that his disposition is correct?
That's fine with the state, Your Honor.
Yes, Judge, we do agree as well.
Okay, 4 days. All right.
Excuse me, about the community service. I just was in a car wreck, so my knee, I don't think I can really do community service like that.
I apologize, Judge.
I broke my whole knee and my shin, so.
There's community service. No, I understand. I can see that. I can understand. And there's community service where you don't have to be standing or carrying stuff.
Okay.
So you just need to look for it.
Okay.
Judge, no, that's my bad. I had already spoke to Miss Story, who agreed to waive the probation fees, I believe, in the email, because Mr. Charles did inform me he sustained a massive injury.
So I'm going to increase that to 6 months.
6 months of
waiver of probation fees.
Yes, Judge.
Okay. All right. Anything else before I move on? Okay. Miss Helen, so it's 12 months to serve 4 days, credit for time served 4 days, balance probated, 30 hours of community service, 6 anger management classes. I will waive probation fees for 6 months, November, December, January, February, March, April. So he has 6 months where he doesn't have to pay probation fees. After that, if he completes everything, then his probation will terminate. But if he's not completed by the end of April 2023, he will still need to continue reporting to probation and start paying probation fees from May 1st, 2023 onwards. Is that everyone's understanding?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Miss Helen, your client has indicated yes. Do you stipulate to the factual basis and venue and ID for one count of simple battery?
We do, Judge.
All right. Mr. Charles, have you drunk any alcohol or taken any medication recently?
No, ma'am.
And since everything that we've been discussing and amending, have you still managed to understand the proceedings?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
And is anyone forcing you or inducing you to take a plea offer today?
No, Your Honor.
If you decide to plead guilty to this one count of simple battery, not only will it be a conviction and a record, but you will not have the opportunity for a trial before a judge or a jury to go back to court, have the assistance of counsel, to be able to challenge the charge brought against you, examine witnesses, confront your accuser, and have the state try to prove the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you prepared to waive all these rights?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you plead to one count of simple battery?
Guilty, Your Honor.
Your sentence is 12 months, to serve 4 days, credit for time served 4 days. Your jail time is concluded. You'll be on probation. You
Thank you.
have to report to probation next Thursday, November 10th at 132 Mitchell Street. And when you report to probation, they will create a probation file. Make sure you give them your current contact information,
Yes, ma'am.
right? Your probation fees are waived from now until the end of April 2023. During this time, it would be best if you try to complete all your conditions, because then you don't have to pay probation fees, but you will have to pay for your anger management classes, okay? If you complete everything before the end of April, your probation will terminate.
Yes, ma'am.
If you don't complete, you will start paying probation fees on May 1st, 2023. Whether at all times, you have to have no further violent contact with Aisha Glover. No physical or verbal altercations that would allow the police to intervene.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
All right. Do you have any questions about your sentence?
No, ma'am.
All right. Thank you for being here. Wish you a speedy recovery.
Thank you.
All right. Take care.
All right.
Thank
All
you,
right.
Judge.
Miss Taylor.
Thank you. And Judge, that concludes my business. May I be excused?
Let's see, Miss Marshall Story, any other questions on this case?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
I wrote it down. Yeah, I amended it all. Thank you. All right. Do we have the paperwork for the gentleman whose phone David Jones client? No, not yet? Okay. Tanisha,
Your Honor,
Baker-
I'm sorry, I apologize. On Mr. Jones' client, Mr. Owls,
yeah,
I believe Mr. Jones was going to give the court the express permission to sign for him. That was what we discussed.
yeah, that's fine
But
with me.
Ms. Bolton does have the unsigned plea paperwork as she was CC'd on the email.
All right, have you signed it?
Yes, my
Okay.
electronic signature is on it.
All right. There you go, Mr. Bowman. Mr. Bowman.
Mr. Bowman?
Okay, let's go
Mr.
ahead and start with, who's ready for the next plea? Was
Well,
it
Your
Mr.
Honor-
Roth?
No place.
Okay, just everyone hold a second on Zoom. Mr. Rafal, may I have your announcements on the cases that you've got?
You know, Miss Mahogany Hill, she wants a jury trial. And we will waive arraignment and on Miss Bird, Your Honor, both parents
Well,
are here.
Your Honor, can we get a calendar or a position number?
Yeah, Mr. Rafal, why don't you go to the microphone at the podium? Because otherwise you have to be seated and talk straight into that mic.
Three,
Yeah, I'll let you.
position 4 on the,
Okay, on Orca, which one is that now?
I think
Yeah, I
that
know.
was
I do not
Orca
have,
C,
okay.
Orca C, position number 4, Mahogany Hill.
Okay, Orca C status calendar, position number 4. Okay, we're in the right case. Mahogany Hill. And Miss Hill is present?
Yes. She wants a jury trial and we'll waive arraignment.
Is she the one in the courtroom? Okay,
Yes.
all right. Miss Marshall Story, this case is, Mr. Rafal is going, this is the demand for a jury trial. He's going to file a waiver of arraignment unless it's already been arraigned. and we will issue a case management order.
Okay.
Ms. Hill, you are responsible for making sure that you keep in touch with Mr. Rafoff. If you change your address, you need to let us know, because when we send you summons for the trial or the next court appearance, you must appear. You understand? And if you don't appear, a bench warrant will be issued for your arrest. All right? I do not know when a trial will be scheduled, so I wish you the very best. You're free to go. Oh, just 1 second. Okay. You need to sign up on a document before you leave. Thank you. All right. And the next one was Martin.
Chastity Bird is number 3 on that same calendar.
Chastity Bird, yes.
Yeah, both her parents are here with her. But the mother is the victim. They don't want to prosecute. She's incapable of making a decision, and I'm going to have to file a special plea of incompetency if the state intends to pursue this.
Your
Again,
Honor, the state has received nothing from the defendant. We've really had no correspondence other than me sending the plea offer and then receiving notice that a jury trial was requested. Luckily, we do have the victim advocate. I've had the opportunity to speak to the defendant's mother. I do believe that the correct course of action is as Mr. Rafoff is requesting now. Based on the information that I have and the information that has been shared with me from our advocate.
you're going to let both parents talk to their advocate today to tell them that, this is a problem that the court shouldn't be solving. She's 29 years old. She fell off her father's insurance when she was 26. She's diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia.
Your Honor, this is inappropriate. This should not be in open court. I understand that we may not be able to have a Zoom, but I mean, at some point in time, at least have some respect for the defendant and the issues that she's facing, rather than placing all of that on top of on an open Zoom call.
The problem is they keep getting dragged into this, just creating friction in the family. And that's the only reason I bring it up. I mean,
All right, I'm going to stop right here. Mr. Rafoff, I understand after you've conferred with Ms. Bird that there may be MH issues. And I agree with Marshall Story. You are free to raise that, but we try to respect the HIPAA rules by not referencing the specific issue. If you just want to refer to it as a MH issue, I'll respect that. Because this Zoom proceeding, this entire open court proceeding, because it's now hybrid under the times, it's not only recorded, also live streamed. So with all due respect to Ms. Chastity Bird, I don't want any reference from this point onwards to any specific diagnosis other than just reference it as an MH issue. Okay, now, I understand this case has been going on since August 2019. Today is November 4th, 2022. Whether it was in 2019 or whether it's in 2022, this does not mitigate the fact that a warrant was issued for arrest, that there was an arrest, and that this is an open pending criminal case. So the issue is, just because the family is going through a strain about it, that we should dismiss the case? No, we don't engage in those tactics. What we do engage in is some substantive discussions between the prosecution and the defense as to how to best resolve this case, or the defendant exercises the right to a trial. And that's where I stand with respect to this case. All right. Now, Ms. Marshall Story, you have made an offer of 12 months probation and 20 hours to community service. Was that correct? And compliance with a treatment.
That is correct, Your Honor. And if the community service is at issue, I am happy to take that off of the table.
All right. And with respect to the charge, is the state willing to reduce the offense to something that doesn't reference a family violence issue, considering that the family members are very keen to see that she comes out of this with very little impact on her record?
Your Honor, I'm not prepared to do that at this moment, but I would happily, with some type of documentation at this point, a lot of this has been conversation, but some type of documentation from the family or from defense counsel, I will definitely take that under consideration and speak with the appropriate people in my office to make that determination.
Mr. Rafal, I'll be glad to reset this to December 9th. If the family can provide some documentation that there are MH issues, I'm asking the prosecution to see if they can consider a reduced offense that doesn't reflect a family violence matter. I know she doesn't want, I know the parents do not want this on her record. Am I correct?
Right. Yes.
But it doesn't mitigate the fact that there was a warrant for arrest, there was an arrest, and this is an open pending case. Just because you have forgiven her doesn't mean that the state dismisses the case. If that was a situation, I could have a lot of cases dismissed at this point. But you have to respect the fact that we have a criminal process and that we have to address these cases step by step. And if that means coming back to court to try to resolve it, then that's what y'all have to do. But I'm going to reset it to December 9th for your attorney to get the necessary documentation from you and exchange that with the prosecution in confidence so we don't have to reveal any private medical information. Mr. Rafal, we good?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. This case is reset to December 9th for a possible final plea on terms that both sides can accept. Thank you. You're free to go.
Thank you,
Do we
Your
need
Honor.
any contact information, Ms. Bolton?
They've been here every time.
All right. Thank you, folks. I appreciate y'all waiting. One step at a time. Okay? All right. And
Your Honor,
Mr.
Ms. Hill is still here. I believe she's excused.
Yes, she is. I think Ms. Bolton wanted to sign off on some documents before she leaves. Mr. Rafal, is
Adriana
that the
Martin.
only cases that you have?
I think we've taken care of all of them.
Okay, we
Adriana
have Miss-
Martin.
Just a minute. We have Miss Oneski on the line. Miss Marshall Story, are you satisfied that Miss Oneski has shown up?
Miss Honesty, I don't believe is my matter. What position is that?
You were asking for a bench warrant for Miss Position 6 on Orca E. Onesty Hunt, Position 6. I believe she's there with the green hair.
I was asking on a different matter. I believe Miss Honesty is Miss Githiea's case.
Oh, sorry, Miss Githia. Someone asked for a bench warrant if she didn't show up.
I did, Your Honor. I was asking regarding, it wasn't this case. I believe it was Miss
No.
Caldwell.
No, hang on. Who's the prosecutor for Onesty Hunt? That's Mr. Rafal's case. Put your legs down, Miss Onesty. Thank
I
you.
have Shakima Hunt.
The position 6 and 7 on Orca E.
Oh, I'm double checking. I do have Shakima Hunt. Let me double check for.
Anesty is the daughter, some other daughter.
Yes, a cross defendant case.
And excuse me, Judge. Mr.
I have that you have both of the cases, both of the Hunts.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Somebody asked for Onesty Hunt to show up on video. She couldn't show up on video. Was that your case, Mr. Korn?
No, Judge, that's Mr. Rafal's case, I
Okay.
believe.
All right, Mr. Rafal.
She's been here all along, Judge. I believe it was you that wanted her to show up on video.
Right, because she was supposed to appear in person, according to Judge Mincy.
Again, that was my fault, Your Honor. I did not know that when I talked.
That's fine, that's fine. But did you announce jury trial for that case?
Yes,
Okay, and a waiver, right?
yes.
So we're going to issue a case management order for Anesti Hunt. Miss Hunt, thank you for appearing via video because Judge Mincy required you to show up in person. So I'm not going to say sorry for making you wait this long, but I will say I'm going to allow you to appear via Zoom today. You need to keep in touch with your attorney, Mark Rafal. And this case is going to be reset for a jury trial. And you must make sure your contact information is current with the court at all times. If you need to appear in person next time, make sure you're dressed appropriately to appear in court. Understood?
Yes.
Okay, so that takes care of that. Mr. Korn, do you represent Shakima Hunt?
Judge, she completed an application. She does qualify. However, this is a fairly obvious conflict of interest case because we represent the cross defendants
Right.
in this matter. So what I'm told is that we've alerted Ms. Strong, and that's our procedure once we get to that point. I don't, GPDC doesn't get involved in misdemeanor conflict cases, so I really don't know what goes on after.
It goes to one, we have conflict defense attorneys and there are lots of them, Mr. Owen, Ms. McLeod.
And Judge
Ms.
Mincy
Hunt-
did request that she do apply for a conflict attorney. She, on 9/27, she was supposed to apply.
Did somebody tell her how to do that? Because honestly, I don't think anybody did. I was there on the 7th. I don't remember anybody telling her how to do that. And I don't know how to do it.
She was told that she needed to appear in the clerk's
I
office.
was told to go down to,
Okay,
I did that.
hang on.
Mhm.
I just want to know exactly what was said when. I'm trying to find the notes on this case.
So Judge, in the first initial hearing, that's when they disappeared off the screen, so they were reset for the next hearing, which was.
Oh, I remember this one. No, I was here. Yeah. I remember this one. Shakima Hunt, right?
Right, so they.
She appeared while she was shopping in a grocery store.
Correct.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I remember Miss Hunt. All right. Miss Shakima Hunt, case
Yes,
number
ma'am.
20 CR 005-749Y. Miss Hunt, you have a right to remain silent about the facts of your case. You have a right to an attorney, and you've been given ample opportunity to apply for the conflict defense attorney. Back in September, you appeared via Zoom before me in an improper way while you were grocery shopping. And I admonished you at that time for appearing for this proceeding in such a manner. You were then before Judge Mincy on September 27.
Yes.
And you were instructed to appear in court in person.
Right, and I spoke with the
And
public
you were
defender.
directed on how to apply for a conflict defense attorney.
I
You
did.
have
She told me to go down
violated-
to.
You have violated two things. Two things. You have failed to appear in person, and you have failed to timely apply for a conflict defense attorney.
She told me to go 11/4 at 9 a.m. I went down there and I filled out the application. I have an email that's sent to me and they told me that they received my application. I just haven't heard anything.
You were told to appear in person.
And I spoke with the public defender this morning and he told me I didn't have to come. He said it's okay to come on the Zoom.
Where are you right now?
I'm sitting in my living room.
Okay, where is that location?
My home.
Is that in Atlanta?
Yes, ma'am.
Get in your car, get Uber. I want you in the courtroom right now.
Okay.
Or I'm issuing a bench warrant for your arrest. Which one would
Okay.
you prefer?
I'll come down there.
Good.
He told me I didn't have to. I was
I
coming, but he told me
don't care. The judge told you you had to appear in court. And the attorney with whom you spoke is not the valid attorney because you need conflict defense. You do not need public defense. And you were instructed on that on the last 2 occasions. So I am sorry if you don't understand what the court told you. You were supposed to speak to a conflict defense, not a public defense.
Okay, that's not what I was told. I was told to.
That's what you were told.
She told me a
Miss
public
Hunt, I'm
defender.
issuing a warrant for your arrest if you go keep on.
No, I'm just telling you, she didn't tell me a
I am
conflict. I
issuing
was
a
told public
warrant
defender.
for your arrest if you keep on.
Okay.
We are, write this address down.
Okay.
We are at 160 Prior Street in courtroom G33.
33. Okay, I have it.
See you within 60 minutes.
Okay.
Thank
Oh, it's gonna take me 25 minutes because I have to take an Uber.
Even better.
Okay.
I've given you an hour. If you're here in 30 minutes, that's excellent.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Mr. Korn, the Public Defender's Office is not representing Shakima Hunt. She needs to come down and apply for a conflict defense attorney as she was advised on 2 prior occasions. So I'm not going to tolerate any further delay in this case. All right, Ms. James or the host can remove Shakima Hunt from the Zoom. Ms. Honesty Hunt, you are free to go. Your case is scheduled for trial. Thank you.
Your Honor, Erica Marshall Story, the cases that I referenced asking if defendant was in court was on Orca E, status conference, position number 1, Tracy Caldwell, and position number 2, Ashley Cato.
Okay. Tracy Caldwell, are you present? Tracy Caldwell? That was Mr. Rafaf announcing.
Yes, and there was a
jury
bench
trial?
warrant on 1014 as well, Your Honor, and that was my reason for asking whether or not Ms. Caldwell was in court today.
Any luck, Mr. Rafaf?
I have a note, this case was transferred. They're saying that Ms. Caldwell, the previous public defender, that she had.
Caldwell.
Oh, she lives in South Carolina, some kind of motion.
Excuse me,
filed.
Judge.
Pardon?
I got no. That she was on the calendar on October the 14th, and it looks like Judge Williams asked whoever the PD was at the time, I'm not sure if it was Mr. Raffoff, if they could resolve the case without having it to continue to go on. So that's why she's back on the calendar today. And my notes say that it was for Mr. Haddad to appear in his case today to basically take up the case or figure out what needed to be done. That's for position number 1 and position number 2.
Yeah, that's the notes I see. October 14th to try and resolve case. I don't see a bench warrant, Ms. Marshall Story.
Our notes say BW. I assume that meant bench warrant. Is the court certain that she was in court?
Oh, that I can't tell you. It
Yeah,
was it was before Judge Williams, and she's put a note on October 14th, reset to try and resolve case. And then on October 27th, I have an entry of appearance by Mr. Rafaf. So it appears that it's not Mr. Haddad, but Mr. Rafaf. So I'm going to deny the request for a bench warrant. I'm going to leave it in the capable hands of Mr. Rafaf to come to contact his client and let him know that Tracy Caldwell's case is reset for a jury trial. Now, whether she fails to appear at further court appearances, if a request for a bench warrant is made and granted, the state, please make sure that the paperwork for a bench warrant is issued at that time, because I have nothing in the entry. So that concludes.
Well, Your Honor, would the court consider?
I'm done, Ms. Marshall Story is done.
Your Honor, respectfully, if the defendant was not in court today, the state has an enormous amount of preparation.
You requested it, I've denied it, we're moving on. Position number 2, Ashley Cato. Let me see, that Mr. Rafal is attorney of record. Oh, no, it's Mr. Haddad. Mr. Rafal, position 2, Ashley Cato, are you just covering for Mr. Haddad?
Now,
or-
I thought that I had filed an entry of appearance. It is my case.
Let's see, entry of appearance on October 27 by Mr. Rafal, so we're gonna have to amend the entry, the council of record. There was a failure to appear by Ashley Cato on July 7th. There was a failure to appear on October 7th, and these were in 2021. Then the case was reset. Entry of appearance was made by Mr. Haddad on August 12th, 2022. Was before Judge Williams on October 14th, and it was reset again. Discovery was filed on November 2nd, which hopefully Mr. Rafal will get access to. So we are here today. No bench warrants, no notes of bench warrants to be issued. So the
Is
state
the
has.
defendant present today?
No, she's not, he or she's not. So the state had requested that the bench warrant issue for the defendant's appearance. The request for a bench warrant is denied, and the case is reset for a jury trial, a case management order to issue. Okay. Do you have, we are going to take up the plea for whosever paperwork I have at the present time.
Your Honor, just a moment. Mr. Bowman, Cinnamon Bowman, who's represented by Miles Cowan, has been on Zoom since we started.
Is Mr. Miles Allen present?
Yes, Mr. Bowman is present, but Mr. Cowan has a conflict letter on file. But I have been in communication with Mr. Cowan. He
Oh,
has
no,
an
no, no.
offer.
Mr. Allen's in the courtroom.
Come here.
Okay,
Mr. Allen, I know you're really tall, but would you mind going to this port? No, not through the, okay, carefully shut that door. Thank you, sir. And today.
Good morning, Your Honor. I represent Mr. Bowman. I was with with Judge Richardson this
No
morning.
problem.
Judge, I do have Ms. Riley's offer. We're gonna maintain our not guilty plea at this time. And
Okay.
and this is the status calendar, is that right?
Yes, this is on the status calendar. So I do see Mr. Bowman present, and this is a not guilty plea. Have you filed a waiver of arraignment, sir?
Judge, I'm not sure.
Just give me a moment. I can only click so fast. Orca C status calendar, position number 1. Okay, a waiver has been filed, so we're going to issue a case management order, and the case is going to be scheduled for a jury trial.
Your Honor, the state would respectfully ask, I have been speaking with Mr. Cowan. I was unaware that we had not reached an agreement. If we could have this set to a status calendar for me to continue negotiations with Mr. Cowan.
No objection, Judge. Just so the court will know, that I inquired about pretrial diversion. I think you might be eligible for that. However, there is no pretrial diversion right now, so.
Counsel was filed an entry appearance on October 6th of this year. Did you receive the discovery already? That was.
Ms. Riley, did you send discovery?
I wouldn't send discovery, Mr. Cowan. It's the electronic system.
Right,
It's
there's nothing
available.
filed. There's nothing filed. There was a motion for discovery on October 6th. Nothing was filed by the state.
And Judge, if we can't come to a resolution, but we have plenty of time to get the discovery. It's not a complicated case.
Yeah, I agree. So I'm going to reset this to December 9th. Hopefully there are no conflicts.
What day of the week is that, Judge?
All right,
What day of the week is the 9th? Just out of curiosity.
Fridays.
Yeah, that helps.
All right. All right. Miss Riley, please make sure the discovery is filed before the end of this week.
Yes, Your Honor.
Along with emailing Mr. Cohen your plea offer.
He already has it, but we'll further
We have
discuss
it.
the matter.
I do have that, Judge.
All right. So Mr. Bowman is present December 9th for a final plea. I always say final plea because I'm trying to be optimistic.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Bowman, you see your attorney in the courtroom?
Do I see him? No, ma'am. I can't
Yes.
see him.
Mr. Cohen, I'm so jealous that you are so tall, but if you could just bow your head down just a tad and he will be able to see your head in the screen. Do you see him?
I still only see you, ma'am.
You need to swish you're on an iPhone, so you need to swish your slides before you can see the different.
How you do that, Your Honor?
Oh, Lord. Okay.
Sit down. I'm here for you this morning.
Can you hear him?
I've made the announcement. Is that okay?
Yes, sir. I can hear you. Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm here this morning on your behalf and I've made the announcement. Is that okay with you?
Yes, sir. That's okay.
Yeah, I think the court's about to excuse you, but just hang on.
You're
Okay.
excused. Do you need any information from Mr. Cohen before I release him? No? Mr. Cohen, thank you so much for stopping by. I
Thank
appreciate
you,
it.
Your Honor. Thank you, Mr. Rowley.
Your Honor, am I
Thank you.
excused?
Have a good
Yes,
day.
you are. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Janika Jones, Mr. Tillman? Who represents Mr. Tillman?
Thank you again.
You're welcome. All right, Mr. Tillman, who represents you?
I'm still trying to obtain representation.
Okay, have a seat. Okay. You're talking to Mr. Rafal?
But I wanted, someone to verbally say to my daughter that she needs to relinquish those papers saying that condition that she had. Because I had to sneakily find out.
Speak to her, and then speak to your attorney, because these are the documents that will be kept confidential, and it needs to be shown to the prosecutor to see how they want to move forward with the case. If there are mitigating factors, there's a possibility that the charges could be reduced, a possibility. But we are not going to, unless your attorney decides to file a request for an evaluation, then she has to submit herself to an evaluation. I need to get a copy of the evaluation to decide whether she's competent to stand trial.
She's not, what I'm saying is when she went to the doctor, because how I found out about her condition is because I sneakily did. I didn't know, but.
You can talk to her if you want to. Or Mr. Rafal can talk to her, but someone has to make a decision on her behalf. If she is incapable of making decisions because there's a competency issue, you need to speak to an attorney about going through probate court to see whether you can speak on her behalf.
Okay, that's not what I'm saying, but okay, I thank you though.
All right, I have a plea that I want to address. Mr. Jones, your client, Mr. Alls, is he ready? Has he charged his phone?
Yeah, yes, Your Honor, he's on the call.
And Ms. Bolton, do we have the paperwork for, is it Orcas or Ms. Sarah for Kajon Alls?
Is that Orca E?
Orca C? I don't see Mr. Alls on the Zoom.
Judge, I thought I saw him a minute ago. Let me check. Actually, I can call him real quick, Judge.
All right.
Adriana Martin.
All right. Ms. Martin, did you send your contact information to Mr. Trejo?
I did, and he told you that my lawyer is there. He was on the way up there and he's there now.
Who's your
Mr.
lawyer?
Rufal.
Mr. Rafaf? All right. Did he step out or did he leave? Looks like he's leaving.
I know, that's why I was trying to get your attention when he was going through all of his cases.
Mr. Trejo, is this Mr. Rafaf's case?
Yeah, are you
Yes,
on
Your
the call?
Honor, we were. So, yes, Your Honor. I was in touch with Ms. Martin, and then I reached out to my colleagues in the PD's office. It looks like Mr. Rafaf was the one who spoke to Ms. Martin and qualified her. So for as it stands right now, he's going to be the one taking the case. And I see that he's walking back in right now.
Yeah. All right, Mr. Rafal,
Yes.
sorry to pile this on your docket, but we have Miss Adriana Martin. Could you wave your hand in front of the screen? Okay. She is a physician. Beg your pardon. Just give me a moment, please.
I believe that's
Position
6 on
number
the C
6.
calendar, Your Honor. Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm looking at it on Odyssey. She is position 6 on the Orca C status calendar. And it appears that Mr. Trejo had reviewed the information and that although there's no entry of appearance, Mr. Trejo believes that you were the one with whom she spoke.
I could have spoke to her in court to qualify her or not qualify her. But other than that, I don't remember the name. I have no file on her and I haven't made an entry, but I'd be happy to talk with her if she could leave me her information.
Miss Martin, what's your phone number?
404-360-6392. And we already talked and he said he was gonna get all my information. He said he was gonna get my packet or whatever.
Discovery? Okay.
Yes.
All right. So, Mr. Rafal, I'm going to go ahead and reset this case to December 9th. All right. Mike Rafal is filing an entry of appearance. Let me see. Who's prosecuting this case?
I am, Your Honor.
Ms. Githia?
Yes.
We can either wait for Mr. Rafal's request for discovery, or if you want to file that at this time.
Yeah, I'm double checking to see if it's already been filed.
It might not show on my end, but I don't
Oh.
see any discovery filed.
Okay, I'll make sure it gets filed.
Okay. And hopefully, Mr. Rafal, you can retrieve the discovery. You have her phone number now?
Yes.
6392-404? Yeah. Okay. And Miss Martin, Mr. Rafal has your phone number. He's got your case file number. You getting it? I can give it to you. 20 COB 000376. All right, and hopefully both sides will have more information to see whether we want a trial or whether we want to resolve this case. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right. Any reason why she needs to remain on Zoom?
No.
All right. I know he's trying, but hang in there. No granola bars help. Okay, Miss Martin, you're free to go. Thank you.
Mhm.
Mr. Alt, are we present? Not yet? Okay. We have a Mr. Tillman who is seated in the courtroom, and he is position 9 on the Orca C status calendar. And Mr. Tillman, can you come around to the podium, please? Mr. Tillman's case is 19 CR 006960F, accused of simple assault, family violence, reckless conduct, and obstruction from July 7, 2019. Mr. Tillman, what have you done to retain counsel?
I spoke with Mr. Rafal last time. I make too much for a public defender, but I haven't been able to find one person because I've also been trying to find somewhere to stay too. So,
You do not qualify for public defense, so you can either hire a private attorney or represent yourself.
okay.
All right. And since you did not qualify for a private attorney, what have you done for public attorney? What have you done to hire a private attorney?
I've been calling around, leaving my number. They've been saying they're gonna give me calls back. I ain't received a call back yet.
Okay, so no attorney to present. And whom have you called?
I just been going down to Google. I typed in the domestic thing and I was going down this like that.
Did you call back?
Did I call back?
Yeah.
No, I ain't call back. I don't say that. I called them. They got my information. Told me they give me a call back. I went to the next one. called
Okay,
them, saying
so
his name.
you didn't call back, so I'm sorry. So what do you want to do next? Let me
I'm
see
not too
what's been
sure
going
what my
on in your
options-
case. You've had 2 failures to, no, is it 2 failure to appear? Yeah. You've had 2 failures to appear back on October 7th and on August 26th. Okay. Mr. Tillman,
Yes.
yeah, calling, leaving a number, and then if you don't get a call back, then you need to take the next step.
I understand all
Either
that.
call back or make diligent efforts to get an attorney. I'm not the one who is being charged with a criminal offense. You are.
You're right. I work every day. I do all this. I don't have nowhere to stay. I'm in between homes. I got to find all this. I got to figure out where I stay every night. And then I got to turn around and do all this as well. I do construction. I have a demanding job physically, so I be exhausted. Yes, I gave in a call. I do apologize for not following up. I can't go ahead and follow those steps and follow up with it now, though.
Okay. So I'm going to arraign your case today, which means that if you want to enter a not guilty plea, you're free to do so. Okay. Otherwise, I'm also, is it Miss Githia for this case, Mr. Tillman?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. I'm going to ask her to indicate what they're willing to offer right now.
The
So Ms.
offer,
Githia?
the offer today is 12 months to serve.
12 months to serve?
Yes, Your Honor. This is involving a gun, firearm.
I see. Okay. So the offer is that you serve 12 months in jail.
No.
I'm going to give you a final reset. Okay. And this final reset is for you to make sure you get an attorney. They're asking you to serve 12 months in jail, which means, according to the sheriff, it will be probably 6 months jail time. Okay. And I'm assuming that's concurrent, Ms. Githia?
Correct.
Which means that this 6 months would apply, 6 months actual jail time will apply to all 3 charges. And on December 9th, you must come to court. Don't make any misunderstandings about this. You must come to court in person, not Zoom. If you hire an attorney and your attorney appears via Zoom, your attorney can appear via Zoom. But you must appear in person. If your attorney says that's fine, you can appear via Zoom, I'm issuing a warrant for your arrest. Do we have any misunderstandings about that?
I don't think I've ever attended Zoom. I've been coming physical since I came. So.
All right. You just heard the prior cases. I want to make sure that you and I don't have any misunderstanding.
Oh, yeah, I'm not them. Not, yeah, no.
Okay. On December 9th, you must appear with a private attorney, or you'd make the decision that you want to represent yourself. Understanding that by representing yourself, you're responsible for understanding how the law applies to the facts of your case, understanding the nature of these charges, the elements carried with these charges, and understanding what your legal options are. You have to educate yourself on that with your extremely busy schedule and lifestyle. Understood?
Understood.
And calling an attorney, if you don't get a call back, means that you have to do the follow-up. And on December 9th, when your attorney appears, I want to know whether you want to consider any plea offer, or if your attorney has spoken to the prosecutor and worked out a different plea offer.
I'm saying it's gonna be something different. I ain't taking a gift.
I'm sorry?
I said, yeah, we're gonna have to work something out. I'm not taking a gift. So that's yeah.
Okay, so we are going to arraign your case right now. Do you want me to read the accusations on the charges, or do you waive a reading of the charges?
You can read them.
Repeat?
You can read them.
Read them, okay. So this is State versus Zacarias Tillman, case number 19 CR 006-960F. Mr. Tillman, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, advised of your right to counsel, and based on the court's instructions, you have the option of either retaining counsel or representing yourself, and you must appear in court in person on December 9th, and a notice will be sent to you. With regards to the arraignment, you are accused of the following offenses: simple assault, domestic violence, reckless conduct, and obstruction of a law enforcement officer. The accusations were filed on August 15th, 2019, and there are 3 of them. So the Solicitor General of Fulton County, on behalf of the citizens of Georgia, do charge the defendant with the offense of obstruction of a law enforcement officer in that on July 7, 2019 in Fulton County, did knowingly and willfully obstruct Officer R. Gammon in the lawful discharge of his official duties by refusing to obey the command of the officer in violation of Georgia law, section 16-10-24A. With respect to the defendant, the Solicitor General, on behalf of the Georgia citizens, do accuse the defendant with the offense of reckless conduct on or about July 7, 2019 in Fulton County, Georgia, did endanger the bodily safety of Sojourner Thomas by consciously disregarding a substantial and unjustifiable risk that his act would cause harm or endanger the safety of such person, and such disregard constitutes a gross deviation from the standard of care which a reasonable person would exercise, to wit, shooting a rifle in the air in violation of Georgia law 16-5-60B. Your third accusation, the Solicitor General does hereby charge and accuse the defendant with the offense of simple assault, domestic violence, a misdemeanor, in that on or about July 7, 2019 in Fulton County, the accused did commit an act which placed Sojourner Thomas in reasonable apprehension of immediately receiving a violent injury by breaking objects and ransacking her apartment in violation of Georgia law, section 16-5-20D. These are the three accusations that have been filed against you. These are misdemeanor offenses, and you are legally presumed innocent of the charges. Upon your entry of a not guilty plea, the case will be scheduled for a trial. At the time of the trial, the prosecution would have the complete burden of proving the charges against you beyond a reasonable doubt. If the state does prevail, you could be convicted of one or more of these charges and face a penalty of up to a year in prison and or up to $1,000 fine for each convicted offense. If there are multiple convicted offenses, the sentences could be served concurrently, that means at the same time, or consecutively, that means one after the other. So you could be looking at a possibility of up to 3 years jail time and or up to $3,000 fine. Given this information, how do you plead?
All right, I give a plea today.
Yes,
I'm sorry to plead no, though. That's not an option.
I believe you said you wanted to plead not guilty and reset the case for trial. So I'm arraigning your case, meaning that I accept a not guilty plea.
I didn't say not guilty. I said I wasn't accepting the offer that they gave me. They offered me a year. I said I didn't want that.
Which means you're not willing to plead guilty or no contest to anything.
Well, no guilty, yeah.
So what's the other option?
I guess not guilty then.
So how are you pleading today?
Not guilty.
Thank you. This case has been arraigned. The case is going to be reset to December 9th for a final status or a final plea. And if Mr. Tillman at that time, as I've already told you, you must appear with an attorney. Otherwise, you choose to represent yourself. And given the nature of the charges, I highly recommend that you exercise extra diligence to retain counsel. Okay? Considering that you've been arraigned today, you have your attorney or you have 10 days to file all the appropriate motions, including a demand for discovery of all information that the state has against you, so that the state will then present your discovery and you can access the information electronically from the clerk's office to understand what information the state has with respect to evidence against you. Do you understand?
Yes.
Clock is ticking. It's now 10 days from today. Thank you. Do you have any other further questions?
No.
Do we have his current address, email, and contact information?
No, we have a Francis Center. 14, well, I don't know. She been tripping. So I don't have address. I was using Sojourner's mom. That's my daughter's mom. So she been acting weird. So I don't know. I don't have address right now.
What's the best address to send information to you?
1427 Belmont Ave Southwest. Should be the
Who
mailing address. On
lives at that address?
Sonia Thomas, Sojourner Thomas's mom.
That is the victim's address. We cannot use that address.
I don't have an address then, ma'am.
Well, you're required to have no further contact with Miss Thomas, so.
Yeah, it's weird because she bonded me out and I also have a child with her, but okay.
I don't see a bond order, so. Were you arrested as a result of this event?
Yes, I went to jail.
I don't know why. Well, if you went to jail and you were released on bond, that's most likely a no contact order, but I don't see one. So unless the state can produce one, I don't see one. I don't know what happened. Hmm? Oh, there's the bond order. Can I get a printout, please?
Oh, I'm sorry. My fault.
Print 2 copies.
I'm just trying to mention.
006960F. Oh, it's in that. Okay, those paperwork. Jeffrey, can we get them a copy of this, please? Thank you, sir. All right, Mr. Tillman had his initial appearance with magistrate court prior to the initiation of the state expedited accusation calendar. And he was simply required to have no weapons, stay away from 490 Glen Street, and have no contact with Sojourner Thomas and Lucille May. Do you see that on the sheet of paper?
Looking at.
Do you see Miss Thomas's name and Lucille May in the middle of the document?
Written in pen right there, right?
Right.
Check. Okay. Yes.
So please comply with that condition. And we need a good address, or you can keep coming up down to the clerk's office every week to check and see what's happening in your case.
Yeah, I might have to come every week unless you want me to get my VIN number because I've been sleeping in my front seat.
Sir, I can't help you there.
No, I ain't saying that you can help me. You keep saying I got to produce an address, and I'm just letting you know where I'm sleeping right now.
Okay. Then you come down to court every week, get your
Okay.
attorney, see you on December 9th.
See you on December 9th.
Thank you.
Also, Your Honor, I placed my contact information to Ms. Bolton, if she can give him that so he could pass on to his private attorney.
Okay, Mr. Tillman, do you want the information of the prosecutor so you can pass it to your attorney? Or you can contact her also if you want to negotiate a plea offer.
Sure.
Okay. Don't leave until you get that contact information, okay? Thank you. All right, Mr. Jones, is your Mr. Alls on screen?
I believe so, Judge. I saw him a
Okay,
moment.
I see him. Thank you. Thank you. This is State versus Kajon Johnson Alls, ALLS, accusation number 19 CR 0070522F. Mr. Johnson was accused of simple battery domestic violence. He's represented by attorney David Jones. And Mr. Jones, on record, you are giving me permission to sign in your place with your express permission, correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
All right, and this is going to be a plea hearing with respect to this case. Mr. Johnson, you have been advised of your right to remain silent and you've been advised of your right to counsel. May I place you under oath for purposes of the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. All right. Ms. Riley, what is the state's offer on Mr. Alls?
Yes, Your Honor, it's 12 months probation, attend and complete 4 anger management classes, have no further violent or harassing contact with the victim, Jada Garnes.
All right. Mr. Jones, did your client see the paperwork?
I believe so, Judge.
The information you sent us, it's all blank. None of the paperwork has been signed by him or initialed by him. Nothing.
Judge, I was having trouble signing it myself. That's the reason I
No,
guess.
but did he look at it, sign it and everything and then send it back to you?
No, Your Honor. If you could send it to me and I'll have them come to my office and execute the paperwork and then send it back to the estate. I would ask for a short reset to get that done.
Okay. Mr. Alls, these are, I don't know if you can see these documents. Can you see this?
Yes, ma'am.
And these are a list of yes and no questions that your attorney should have given to you. You should have read them and initialed and checked off the responses. And this was not done. And by law, I cannot proceed with a plea hearing unless I am absolutely certain that you've gone over these documents, you've acknowledged the questions, and given your responses in writing. Okay, this is a constitutional and due process issue. It's simply a question of pushing paperwork. So I can reset this. And hopefully next time you won't be at work. You will be at home in front of your computer so that you can understand the whole proceedings and not have any device issues. Do we have Orca on the 18th?
Yes.
Can I put it there?
It'll be an add-on calendar this year.
Okay. Mr. Jones, I can reset it to November 18th. What time? At 9 o'clock. And all these documentation must be probably signed off, initialed by both the defendant and defense attorney and emailed back to the court. Is that acceptable, Mr. Jones?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
This was my fault, Judge, not my client's.
I understood. But so this case is reset to November 18th as an add-on final plea. And Mr. Alls, please be sure that you initial and sign all the necessary documents so that we don't have any more hiccups in this case.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. You're both free to go. Thank you. All right, I don't have anyone else in the courtroom. Is there anyone else on the Zoom who has not been addressed? Okay, I guess this concludes our 9 a.m. calendars. We are going to move on to our 11:30 a.m. calendars.
That's the motion for continuing.
For Shakua?
Yes.
Okay. Is it on the calendar anyway?
I have an extra calendar.
Okay. Let me just go over the calendar so that. Excellent. Okay, thank you. Let's start with Orca. A, motions calendar. Do y'all have that?
Yes, Your Honor. That was a motion for a continuance that was granted
Yesterday, yeah. So I'm not sure when it's going to be reset. What's the date? Do you have that?
Due to the reset, Your Honor, I'm just gonna further notice that. to next
Okay.
year. So I'll further notice that, and I'll have the date.
Wycliffe Shakua's case is further notice to January 2023 or whichever is available. Okay? All right.
Thank you.
Orca C, final plea calendar. Tanisha Baker was a plea. Positions for Mr. Latham, represented by, he needs to get a private attorney, reset to January 20th, 2023 for trial or a final plea. He has been admonished to get a private counsel for that case. Same announcement for position 6. He was arraigned today and the case is reset to January 20th. With regards to position 5, prosecutor Lance Patrick with the DNR, Mr. Latham has been admonished to get counsel. And his case is reset to January 20th for a plea or a trial. Orca C, no, excuse me, Orca E.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, positions 1 and 2 for Orca C final plea.
Orca C final plea. Oh, I'm sorry, I was looking at the page. Sorry, my bad.
That's
Orca
okay.
C final plea, you're right. Mr. Alls is a final reset to November 18th at 9 a.m. Add-on calendar for a final plea. Completed documents must be submitted by then. And position 2, Percy Anderson. This is reset to December 9th. Defense attorney Tom Ford requests an emergency continuance, which was granted. So it's reset for a final plea, pending discovery as well. So hopefully he will retrieve the discovery and consider the case for a final plea. Let me see. Orca C, status conference calendar. Position number 1 is reset to December 9th. Case has been already arraigned. A case management order is reset to December 9th for a final plea. Sorry, that's
Yes,
what
Your
it's
Honor.
reset for. Mr. Bowman, sorry. Represented by David Jones.
No,
Okay.
Miles Cowan.
Oh, sorry, Miles Cohen, sorry. 20. Position 2, Roger Budd was a plea. Position 3, Chastity Bird is reset to December 9, represented by Attorney Raffa, and reset to December 9th for a final plea. Hopefully, the parents can communicate and Mr. Raffa can communicate with the prosecutor to consider a reduced offense. Okay, position 4, Mahogany Hill entered a not guilty plea demanding a jury trial, the waiver of arraignment to be filed today and case management order to be issued. Position 5, Janika Jones.
A null process was tendered in that case, Your Honor.
The case is null crossed. Position 6, Adriana Martin is reset to December 9th, represented by Mr. Mike Ruffa. And I guess they need to confer and determine their next course of action on December 9th. Position 7, Kimberly McNeil did not announce present. Kimberly McNeil, let me see. Is Miss McNeil? I don't see that she's represented by counsel. She left the Zoom on October 7th due to a technical error she has not appeared. What's the state's request?
The state requests a bench warrant, Your Honor.
Granted. All right, moving on to Darius Mullen, demand for a trial arraignment waived and a case management order to be issued, represented by Attorney Trejo. Position 9 has been arraigned, reset to December 9th. Defendant has been admonished to get an attorney, case management order to issue. Position 10, Dimitri Whitaker did not announce present for status.
Your Honor, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, Mr. Whitaker did not appear on October 7th. Did not appear on August 26th of this year. And now has not appeared for November 4th.
The state requests a bench warrant.
Granted. Okay, that takes care of the Orca C calendars. I have Orca E calendar, which is just the status. Oh, first of all, on Orca E show cause calendar, Thomas Payne. Mr. Payne, he did not appear. And let me get to that calendar. This is Orca E. This was a show cause calendar, Mr. Thomas Payne.
Yes, the state previously requested a bench warrant, Your Honor.
Bench warrant is granted. Hopefully one will be filed today or soon, very soon. Okay? Folks, please make sure the bench warrants, if granted, are entered so that we don't have any issues in the future. All right, moving on. This bench warrant is granted, and this Ms. Strong, this is your calendar, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we're going to do that. Orca E status calendar. Position 1, Caldwell. Case is jury trial waiver of arraignment to be filed. Case management order to be issued. Position 2, Cato. Demand for trial, waiver of arraignment to be submitted, case management order to issue. Both cases, Attorney Rafal to represent the defendant. Position 3, Harold Charles. This was a plea. Position 4, Madison Crisp is reset to December 9th. This is a final reset for a plea. Discovery was already provided. So hopefully Mr. Travis Tour will give us a decision by December 9th. Position 5, Davenport is reset to January 20th for a bench trial calendar represented by Mr. Lawrence Horn, excuse me. Position 6, Onesta Hunt represented by Mike Raffoff, and Ms. Onesti Hunt is demanded a trial. A waiver is to be filed and a case management order to issue. Position 7, Shakima Hunt has not yet appeared in court. I'm going to give her till the when I'm done, and if she's not here, a bench warrant will issue. Position 8, Alfred Phillips was a plea. Position 9, Lyndia Pittman Powers is represented by Mr. Fortas, reset to December 9th for motions and or for final plea. He's got to retrieve his, I think, is this the one that we are waiting on discovery, Ms. Gipia?
No, Your Honor, he has discovery in this one.
Okay. All right.
He stated that the defendant was considering the offer.
All right. So reset to December 9th for final plea, or let's put it final plea. Okay, Ms. Strong?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Okay, that concludes the calendars. Do I have 11:30 calendar? Do I have a 1 o'clock calendar? Do I have any other calendars after this?
Let me double check.
Okay, I'm going to leave the courtroom open while we go through our paperwork. And if Miss Shamika Hunt does not appear, I'm going to grant the bench warrant. And if she does appear, then she's going to be directed to the clerk's office to properly apply for a conflict defense counsel, and the case will be reset to December 9th.
Your Honor, may I inquire of the court? You're not aware of any calendar on Tuesday, November the 8th, are you? You're not sitting for Orca calendar?
There is definitely no possibility that I'm sitting on a calendar on December, sorry, did you say December 8th?
No, November.
November 8th.
Tuesday.
I'm looking at the state Orca calendar. not that day,
Okay,
but we have a 1 week jury trial. No, sorry, we have Orca jury trial calendar scheduled at 9 a.m. on the 15th.
correct, yes. We're aware of that. There was just a mention of a Tuesday, November 8th calendar that we were not aware of, so I was just making sure.
All right. So based on that, 7 cases, if they are all ready for trial, great. We're not going to take them up at the same time. Okay. And that would be, I think, in court, we're still trying to decide whether it's courtroom G33 or G40 because we need to accommodate the jurors. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Any other questions? All right. Thank you very much, folks. We can terminate the live stream and the recording, please.
Your Honor, did you need me to stay on to a certain time to see if Ms. Hunt appears?
No, you don't. I've already given you the options. I'm going to
Okay.
go over my paperwork. The courtroom's going to remain open until we conclude here. And if she still hasn't appeared, then I'm going to make a note that on the bench warrant. It's been more than 30 minutes since I directed her to appear.
Okay.
All right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Miss James, is it Miss James hosting? We can stop the live stream and the recording, please. But we have to leave the Zoom open until we conclude with our business in court and the live stream.